Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Seth Estrada here, alias Mind Your Biz. Feels good to say that. And I have with me, all the way from the south of Spain, Malaga, a beautiful place, taking his precious time to talk with us about some DeFi gems, Cryptos Chain. Cryptos Chain, welcome.
Thank you for inviting me, and I really look forward to talking about these gems. Some of them are on the famous and the most hyped about project that you know of. It's Polkadot.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's been long overdue. We haven't talked at all about Polkadot on the channel. So you and I both spoke before we started this recording about really kind of boiling it down to maybe a top 3 plus Polkadot, which of course is like the foundation and cornerstone of the conversation today. And then there's a little bit of a hidden gem, one that I think a lot of people haven't heard about. And I think you even admitted that you hadn't heard about it when I brought it up in our little green room session before. So I'm excited about this. Guys, stay tuned all the way to the end. Promise this will be worth your time. You're going to learn a bit about Polkadot, a little bit about the ecosystem, a little bit about stuff that Cryptos has his finger on the pulse of, and then that hidden gem that I haven't talked about. I've held this one really, really close to the chest. So this is going to be a great, great session. Cryptos, why don't we go ahead and kick things off with a conversation about Polkadot in general. Some of my audience, a lot of my audience is very focused on proof of work, on mining, on anything they can kind of contribute to the creation of and the means of production and distribution. And they're not so much focused on DeFi in general as a whole. And they might be actually fairly new to Polkadot. So from a 30,000 foot view, what is Polkadot?
Yeah, so Polkadot are not really competitors of Ethereum, as some people say. Let's just think of it as that revolutionary project that's going to try and take over the crypto space with a unique model. So basically what they're going to do is think of it like this big, huge blockchain, this big, huge ecosystem that you can build other blockchains on. And all these blockchains are configurable using a specific set of tools. In this case, we've got the substrate framework, which Polkadot is built onto. And then this substrate framework allows other blockchains called parachains to be created on. But in order to actually become a parachain, you need to have voting, you need to have been voted by the community. And when I say the community, these are the validators, all the holders of the specific coin on Polkadot, which is DOT, the DOT coin. So this gives people the flexibility to vote for who they think that should become a parachain. But of course, there could be some manipulation too, as always. Like, for example, the team could be buying a large bunch of DOT coins, and then they could get other people from their team to vote for them in order to ensure that they get that parachain slot. But it is an auction, right? So they do have a really, really big system. I mean, if you check on their website, you'll be lost in translation. There's just so much technical information on there. But literally what you have to keep in mind is that there's going to be an auction. There are going to be like various different people voting. And then when the auction ends, you'll either know if they get the parachain slot or not, right? So various projects are going to try and get these parachain slots. One of them is going to be Acala Network, which is a DeFi that we're going to be talking about. Another one is going to be Staffy as well, which is another DeFi. So all these different projects are going to do that, right? And not only build as a parachain, but also you're going to have parathreads, which are the pay-as-you-go models, the smaller ones for smaller projects that don't need to be online 24/7. Maybe they want to be using the smart contract for some kind of transactions, for some dApps, for some things, like, for example, some small changes, small developments and things like that. So they don't need like an entire parachain. Now, these parachains are only for 2 years though, right? So you got to keep in mind that these slots do free after 2 years. It could be even less, like you could get a slot for 6 months, because all of these slots are in 6 months and 6 months batches. So it all depends on the voting and what people decide to do.
Got it. So it sounds like it's almost like a bit of a de facto accelerator model where they're accepting programs, or they're accepting these different parachains into inclusion within a larger ecosystem, and having those new chains have won the right to community support, so to speak. And then they have that limited amount of time to either really impress everybody or get out of the way for the next person to take in to fill that slot.
Exactly. And just to continue on with that, just to kind of reiterate. So with these parachains, think of a parachain as a project like an ICO trying to conduct a token sale, right? They're going to build that parachain. They want to get that slot for the parachain, right? For 2 years, but they need your support. So how can you support? Well, you need to stake or lock DOT coins for up to 2 years, right? in order to participate in this token sale, so you can help them get the parachain slot or secure it. And what they do in exchange is they reward you with tokens, just like you see on Ethereum, where you are participating in an ICO. You had to submit your KYC or documents and all that. And then once you get approved, then you send your ETH, you get the tokens, right? It's going to be exactly the same here, except there's going to be no documents. Okay, you're going to do this directly through the app, through their wallet, through governance. So you're going to be voting directly for the parachain. You're locking your DOT for 2 years. You're getting the tokens, and that's it. That's pretty much it. So it's very straightforward. It's like a token sale, which you're basically not giving away your funds. You're going to get them back, but it's just a longer wait.
Got it. That's so cool.
The cool thing about Polkadot, and I think that's one of the big reasons why it's being so hyped at the moment. Just the fact that it's so flexible. It's creating this ecosystem of configurable blockchains. Also interoperability, because you've got Chainlink, who are also going to be working with Polkadot to do that connection between the various blockchains out there like Ethereum, Neo, Ontology, and all these other blockchains, connecting to the parachains on Polkadot. So you're going to have interoperability between these blockchains, like dApps could share information and things like that. So you can see how the space is moving towards that kind of interoperability direction.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. That's so cool. So again, thank you so much for the primer there. My audience and this channel was built primarily on the proof of work rush, right? Gold rush after the bull run of 2017, or moving into the bull run of 2017. So a lot of my audience still, they come to me to look for tips and tricks on how to mine new coins, right? And how to mine new gems, or how to get on day zero proof of work launches. So this DeFi thing, for a lot of my audience, this is a little bit different. So you're going to be speaking to an audience that's largely unexplored. I doubt we have a lot of crossover in our audiences. So guys, before we go any further, as you can see, Cryptos is very well versed in this emerging space of DeFi and of staking and of projects like Polkadot. So take a moment. If you're not subscribed to this channel, of course, subscribe to this channel. And as you see down in the description below, make sure you follow that link to automatically subscribe to Cryptos Chain. So that link will bring you directly to his channel. All you have to do is click on confirm when it asks you if you want to subscribe to his channel. Thank you very much. Yeah, but take that opportunity right now, guys. We're going to talk about a couple more gems, and if you're just starting to do research on Polkadot, this is absolutely your lucky day, guys. We're going to talk about a couple of gems that, as Cryptos Chain mentioned before, they're entirely dependent on Polkadot as that substrate that he was saying before. It needs to be orchestrated on top of Polkadot, and they're entirely powered by Polkadot. But that doesn't mean that they're any less exciting than Polkadot. They're really, really exciting. They've got a lot going on. Acala Network was the first one that I heard you mention before in our green room session. Let's talk a little bit about that. And I'm going to try to troubleshoot their website, because one of my ad block plugins or something is blocking the main content of Acala.network. But I'm going to pull that up while you give us just a brief overview. Why are you excited about Acala Network?
Yeah, so the first thing about Acala Network that you got to keep in mind is that it's a DeFi. And as you know, everything has been a DeFi in 2020 has been doing really well. Now, the second thing is that they're funded by Polkadot. So that is a very, very bullish move, right? Think about it. I mean, if Polkadot has been doing so well and it has surpassed the market cap of Chainlink for a moment, now it's back below it a little bit. So that's like 6th on coin market cap. Then what's it to stop Acala from performing really well as well? So that's one of the reasons why I'm really bullish on it. And the third thing is the total supply, which is also very important and plays an important role when it comes to prices, right? Because at the end of the day, everybody who's investing, and again, this isn't financial advice or anything, but logically thinking, like anybody who's investing, they want to know what the total supply is as well. Because if there are too many in circulation or too many coins or tokens that are available, then, the price could be manipulated a lot. So 100 million is the total supply of these tokens.
The primary purpose and function for Acala Network, you mentioned it's a DeFi. What does that mean in most practical terms for somebody who's just entering into cryptocurrencies and just now starting to explore DeFi? They're barely starting to understand arbitrage and some of these the basic concepts of dealing with cryptos and especially tokens. What do they need to be aware of when outside of it being funded by Polkadot and powered by Polkadot? Yeah. What else do they need to be aware of in terms of using this and in terms of making it serve them?
Sure. So DeFi stands for decentralized finance. And the reason being is because you can actually get loans on this product. Now, one thing you got to keep in mind, and this is not only limited to Acala, but the other DeFi projects out there, is that the loans are limited. So you cannot get a loan which is larger than your collateral, When I say collateral, it means you need to already own some crypto that you can use as backing for this project to ensure that you're going to pay back this loan. And when you get the loan, your loan is going to be in a stable token, which is going to be AUSD in this case, which is exactly the same as USD Tether, which you're probably familiar with already. Even if you're new in the crypto space, USD Tether, just know it's a coin, it's a token which is backed on a 1-to-1 ratio with the US dollar. So AUSD is going to be exactly the same, backed with the US dollar. So what you can use as collateral are DOT Bitcoin, but not real Bitcoin, as in the actual Bitcoin that you know on its own blockchain, but it's a copy of Bitcoin which is backed within the Polkadot ecosystem, which is used on the Acala Network, and you can use that as well in order to back your collateral. So the cool thing is within this Acala app, you can actually do chain swaps. So within the same blockchain, you can actually swap in between various assets at market price. They've got a liquidity pool which is given to people based on staking. So for example, if you decide to stake a specific token, you get rewarded for staking. And when you're staking, you're actually staking it to that liquidity pool. So you're generating liquidity for those people that want to take loans. So that's cool. And not only for those that want to take loans, but also for those wanting to do these swaps. So it gives you like, the rewards are just really good, basically, for those people that want to hodl.
Got it. Okay, that's awesome.
For those people that don't want to hodl, they want to take loans, they can do so. Now, again, that is the downside at the moment. And I actually spoke about this with Satoshi, which is an Ethereum developer. He's also been on my channel recently. And I've mentioned this exact same flaw at the moment. And there have been people in the comments that have said some interesting things, such as, what if in the future there's going to be a way to maybe get a loan for a home, and then you can use that home that you're getting a loan for to tokenize it, and also add the actual contract, make it digital, and add it to the blockchain. So that way you cannot sell that home until you've got, like, obviously a modification to that contract. But then in that case, that would mean the governments would have to change the whole mindset. You wouldn't have physical contracts anymore. Everything would have to be digital. Yeah. So in the future, there could potentially be a way to move to DeFi and get like bigger loans without using such a big collateral.
That's a very interesting proposition right there. I think also when it comes to real estate, when you get involved in real estate, the concept of assignable contracts, it's not new within real estate investing, right? So having assignable contracts within real estate and serialized LLCs, right? For example, nested LLCs or various different corporate structures that you use then to contain assets. I mean, it's exciting. Absolutely. I agree with you. The prospects there are absolutely exciting with depending on whether or not you have enough institutions that are on board. I think right now within the United States, and again, the hashtag not financial advice, I'm going to run a warning card right now in line with the video, just so we have this, guys. You've seen the disclaimer card before, but none of this is financial, business, or legal advice. Do your own research. Don't get wrecked. And but I'm really excited by that. I'm really, really excited. There are so many ways to structure liability, and so many ways to structure holdings and assets within not only an individual trust, right, or some kind of individual retirement account, or whatever else, but then also within the corporate structures, right? So things like limited liability corporations and LTDs in certain parts of Europe. But then, of course, you don't have to be an American citizen to create an LLC. I mean, again, hashtag not advice, guys. Go talk to your professionals about this. But yeah, the prospect of having assignable contracts, which right now are represented in paper, to have them tie into smart contracts and DeFi staking platforms. You're blowing my mind here, Cryptos Chain. Yeah, the possibilities here seem like
there are definitely ways. There are definitely ways. We just didn't get to that yet.
Yeah. So it sounds like Acala Network then, the two forms of collateral that you mentioned for any kind of a loan on Acala Network are both Polkadot, and then you mentioned it's a form of, it sounds like REKT BTC, but exactly. Essentially their version of it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. But it's not WBTC. It's not.
No. It's for their own chain. It's for Acala. It's for that parachain.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. So it's their own custom wrapped BTC essentially.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I think so. Any developers who are watching, if you're thinking of some sort of interoperable wrapped BTC, you're going to win the market if you can get an interoperable wrapped BTC to function on all these DeFi projects, and then also on other main chains like Ethereum. Awesome. So Acala Network is one that you mentioned before. you are holding, or you are not holding, or you wanting to hold?
I'm only holding a small amount because I took part in this festival. I contributed with a tutorial, which I hope helped a lot of people. I know it got a lot of views. A lot of people were interested to see how it works in action. I was surprised at the testnet because everything is just moving so quick. All the transactions are very fast. So hopefully with mainnet, it's going to be even better, right? We're hoping near instant transactions pretty much. And yeah, I mean, I'm holding some because I participated in this festival, but now it's over. So the only way to actually get ACA at the moment is when they're going to, not at the moment, but soon, is going to be during the token sale, when they do an IPO, which is called an initial parachain offering, which would be back to the same point that I discussed when I explained Polkadot, where you're actually voting for Acala to join as a parachain to bond. So they're going to reward you ACA tokens for voting for them. And there's going to be around 35 million ACA tokens that are going to be distributed to people taking part in this IPO. So that's a lot of them. Then they will also want to do an IEO, which is an initial exchange offering. We don't know on which exchange yet. They haven't confirmed any details, but they will obviously after the IPO. So what that means is you're going to need to take part, or if you want to take part, you're going to need to join a specific exchange, which they're going to tell us that whatever it is, do join their Telegram channel if you're interested. And yeah, basically just follow the details on that and then see if you can take part if you're interested. Again, not financial advice, but from my personal point of view, I'm really bullish and I'm looking forward to it. If I can't take part in the IPO, I mean, when they list on exchanges pretty much.
Very, very cool. So you got
being in as early as possible.
That's awesome. So you want to grow that initial bag from contributing early on.
Definitely. You know, I have faith that they're going to do well, simply because they're not just any DeFi. If it was just any DeFi, I would be wary. I would be like, okay, maybe they're going to do well. But just because they've got that Polkadot backing and we've seen what Polkadot has done since they've been listed, I mean, it's a no-brainer from my point of view that, and from the people in my community on Telegram, we're all fans of Acala Network after we discovered it. So we're turning into that kind of tribalism of Acala Network within the community. No, but we like anything Polkadot in general. Like everything that's been Polkadot has been doing well, and you know, people want to get onto the boat, right? They want to ride that boat.
Yeah, awesome.
Or the train.
Awesome. Well, let's talk about a couple other projects. We both kind of agreed that one that has probably not gotten as much love as it should, and this is gosh, we were going to keep it simple. I promise we were going to keep it simple. It's going to be just top three, but this is one of the three guys we're going to talk about. KAVA. KAVA.io is the website. I've got that pulled up to just the side of us right now. And it's another one of these earning high yield on your crypto, and they're backing the history, their partnerships, the leadership. There's so much that makes this a really great project. I won't say a safe bet, right? Again, not advice, and you guys have to do your own research, of course. But there's so much about KAVA Network that KAVA.io. Take a look at it there at KAVA.io and do entirely your own research. That makes it a really it gives it a lot of potential, right? It gives it a lot of potential because there are so many other platforms that are saying like, oh yeah, absolutely, it's going to be high yield. Just leave your coins with us. And it sounds like the simplest proposition in the world, right? Value proposition. Leave your coins with us and we will grow yield either by lending or by our own internal projects, a la, just like how Polkadot is doing, our own internal projects and accelerator style program. KAVA is just a little bit different. I need to ask, are you in KAVA at all right now?
No, I used to be. Unfortunately, I sold my bag a good while back. But basically, just to keep things short with KAVA, I mean, it's the same concept as Polkadot. That's how you get the loans, but you can also use BNB as collateral. So they're pretty much backed by Binance in a way, but Binance has not invested in them as far as I'm aware, and they haven't made it public, but they've got a partnership going on there. So that really helped KAVA perform well, and obviously their marketing and they've done really well. But one of the downsides with KAVA, I will say, is the inflationary aspect of it. Like around 7% per year are being, or 14%, not 7, 14% per year are being generated. And then for stakers, obviously, because you can stake and get rewarded, but then, because of the inflation.
Yeah, it seems like also within cryptocurrencies, having an inflationary model versus allowing for a natural scarcity or natural deflation through creating scarcity and hard caps. It does kind of seem to go against the ethos in general within cryptocurrencies when you allow for artificial inflation measures because you want to try to please stakeholders. That's a little bit of a bummer. I wasn't aware of that, and definitely appreciate that, guys. So, but we within the sort of crypto influencer space, there are a couple of people who let a lot of influencers in early and kind of give us all fair warning and notice like, hey, we were looking for people to talk about KAVA early on. So, it's still, not, the project hasn't sunk, right? They're still offering rewards, and it looks like they're still going strong, but in the modern landscape, there's just so many other projects that are offering so much more. It's almost insane.
DeFi and all that. Yeah, definitely. I mean, with DeFi, KAVA were one of the early ones. Like, there weren't that many doing DeFi at the time, right? So they had that first mover advantage in a way. And obviously with the partnership with Binance and all that. But now, like Binance, if you want to move on to the next project, we could actually talk about, because we've been talking about Binance. You probably know Crypto.com's competitor, which is Swipe. They've also got a card. Actually, they've announced today that they're going to launch in the United States. They've got a banking partner. Evolve Bank. It's actually a small bank in the US. Apparently not many people heard about it, but they've announced that partner, and who knows what's going to happen. You're basically going to be able to use that as a checking account at that bank, and you're going to be able to swap in and out of your crypto account using Swipe's app. So they're going to integrate it within the bank.
Wow. Okay.
It's pretty interesting. I mean, they're trying to compete with Crypto.com. As you know, CZ, the CEO of Binance, him and the CEO of Crypto.com are not really good friends. So, they're one is trying to do better than the other. So they're trying to come up with all these different strategies to perform better. They've got they basically give you they pay you in BTC. Once you get like cash back, like with Crypto.com. So if you make a purchase with the Swipe card, you get like, say, 1% back in Bitcoin, or 2% or 3% or 4%, up to 5%, depending on which card you own. And again, like Crypto.com, you do need to stake SXP tokens, which are part of the Swipe ecosystem, which are an ERC20. You need to stake these in order to, or not stake them, but lock them up in order to avail of these rewards. They've got referral programs as well and all that, but they're not actually released yet. So they're working on the referral programs at the moment. Some of them are really good, like tempting, like up to $3,000, but they haven't given us too much information. So they're just giving us the numbers, to try to motivate you to jump on board.
Right. Yeah. So this is the latest news with Swipe, and I think my audience, they saw that I released a video very early about the Turnio, their block card partnership. Block card is another competitor, right? You mentioned before, Crypto.com is they're the guys to beat, right? Everybody wants a piece of that sort of like crypto debit card action that Crypto.com has taken so much of right now. And it's obvious that there is room for more. There's room for competition, but it is highly competitive, and it has yet to be seen how well those staking rewards and how well those rewards will work out for a debit card type system, where you're continually debiting against coins that maybe you've had staked. So having that kind of a dynamic system, or having to lock up a certain amount and then also have it tied to a debit card system, I don't know. I think it has yet to be seen how successful that'll be over the long run. Crypto.com, even, you don't even have a full 12 months. For most people, a full 12 months of user experiences and user stories to draw from to say like, oh yeah, for sure, after a year, this is what I experienced. You're getting short-term gains, but then a lot of people are still fully invested and fully staked in their Crypto.com cards, at least to a certain amount. So with Swipe, it's going to be really interesting to see how that hits the market and what they do in their first 90 and 180 days, and then first year. Definitely.
I totally agree. And the fact that they've joined the US market just today, I mean, that's something to see. How is it going to perform? I mean, will they have many US customers? I of course, I'd expect they will. You guys love crypto in the US.
Yeah, so, we also love rewards, man. I mean, who doesn't love free money, right? Like
exactly. Yeah. And the other thing I want to mention about Swipe is they've got a deflationary model, and I'm a big fan of deflationary models. I really like Bitcoin for the fact that it's not inflationary, right? You can only have 21 million, and a lot of these are burned anyway because of people losing their wallets from 2009 or 2000, up to 2010 or 11, right? So there's less in circulation. So it's the same with Swipe. It's going to be deflationary all the way down to 100 million. At the moment, there are 299 million in total. But in circulation, we've got less than that. We've got around 65 million on coin market cap, but a recent 10 million was unlocked by the team. But the team said they're going to stake it. So they don't want to actually push that onto exchanges. They don't want to sell it, obviously, because they believe in the future of Swipe. And what they did is they posted a tweet with a lockup address so that you can follow it. And you can see that they've got the 10 million tokens there sitting there. So if any movement happens, obviously us YouTubers are going to be the first ones to report it. So.
It's true. Yeah. Whistleblowers like, hey, take all your money out of Swipe, like right away.
Exactly. Swipe, I just moved their money. Oh no, FUD. You know, so sell your bags, guys. No, yeah, but seriously, I mean, their model is pretty cool. I mean, I like what CZ is doing. And let's be honest, I mean, there are people that love CZ and there are people that hate CZ. I'm not saying he's 100% clean. You know, I mean, some people have done some bad stuff in their life at some point in order to get to where they are, especially to be this successful. I mean, surely he stepped on some heads, but it just shows that he's got the marketing power, he's got the money. So I think he's going to do well with Swipe. And that's why you got to try and get on the ride, you know, sometimes.
Yeah. Definitely love this one. And absolutely, as far as in that category, Cryptos, this is a gem. I mean, those people who are looking at the crypto.com card, for example, maybe they've even maxed out their rewards and they're wondering where else they can put money safely, right? Or just diversify a little bit so they don't put everything into crypto.com and their crypto.com card. I mean, there's nothing saying that you can't have whatever 10,000, 20,000 in one card and 10, 20,000 in another card. And then if there's a third or fourth option that seem attractive, track those over 90 days, see which one performs and double down on the ones that are actually winning, right? So yeah, like again, hashtag not advice, but this is brilliant.
And what's cool about Swipe, just sorry to add in two more things. So when you stake on Swipe, there is no lockup period for staking. You get rewards, but you can always unstake, and then that's it. You can sell them if you want. So there's no waiting time. It could be good or bad. It depends how you view it, right? Because in majority of staking platforms, you have a lockup period and you cannot unstake until like a certain number of days or even a month passes, right? That's one advantage and maybe a disadvantage to some, it depends. But then with the lockup for the actual cards to get the cash back, it's only for 6 months, right? There is a card which doesn't require any lockup whatsoever, but it's only got 1% cash back. And then again, you get the benefits with Netflix and Amazon and all that and Spotify. But the 6 months lockup is a good thing in my opinion, because it's not a very long time, even in crypto terms. I mean, many things could happen, but at least you get your SXP back and you still have the same benefits as you did before when you started locking them. So that's a plus on my side. And I think this is one of the strong aspects of Swipe compared to crypto.com.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant.
That you've got a limited lockup period.
That is absolutely, yeah, that's great. Yeah, I think there are a lot of people, and this has been my concern. I did a video with Nerd Girl, and we talked about, we didn't make any kind of an assertion that it is or isn't some kind of a, air quotes scam, but crypto.com, there's some people who are concerned about the lockup periods, like you're saying, when you're being asked to lock up for more than 6 months or up to a year. There's so much uncertainty within crypto that when you do lock up for up to a year, or when there are required minimums of at least a month, right, for any participation at all, there's going to be that buyer profile that it's just not right for. I won't say that it's a scam, right, for them, but it's just not a good fit for some people, right? They may have, right, a lot more sensitivity to risk, but
yeah, I mean, the thing is with crypto.com is that because you're locked up for so long, it takes so long to actually make up that money that you've locked up from the cashback. Right. I mean, think about it. If you lock up for like, I don't know, 2 years in or 3 years and you don't want to unlock it, how long would it take you to get that cash back? I mean, it's crazy because some of the requirements are really high, like, and especially because MCO is really expensive at the moment as well. So it's going to be tricky.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a great alternative. Let's talk about our next gem. And it's one that you brought up that I hadn't heard of before. And it's Stafi.
Yeah.
So, Staking Finance. I've got their website up just off to the side here. They've got a breakdown of a white paper and that explanation of the tokenomics. But can you give us a very lean overview Why did you get excited about Stafi? Why did this make your short list?
So first of all, because they're a DeFi. Second of all, because they're building on Polkadot. Everything that builds on Polkadot does well, has been proven so far. Who knows in the future, if there are too many things building on Polkadot, there'll eventually be scams too. You could expect that. But that's why we've got the voting system. And that actually will hopefully prevent scams, because people that think it's scammy, they're just not going to vote, especially whales. They've got insider info, things like that, right? Yeah, I mean, that's one of the pluses. And then the second thing is the actual token, not the tokenomics, but the model, the whole model that they've got. So aside from the tokenomics, 100 million total supply, same as Acala, is that if you're staking with various blockchains that have been audited by them, and they're going to go live with a number of them, and that is Cosmos, Tezos, which are really big ones. They're going to have Polkadot, they're going to have KAVA, they're going to have Harmony as well. These are all on Binance, by the way. So what you could do is you can actually stake on these blockchains. You're probably staking already if you're watching this video with some of these big blockchains. You're staking to a validator, you're getting your rewards, but while you're getting those rewards, maybe the price is dumping, right? So you're not really seeing that return on investment as much as you'd like to see it. Well, if you're using the Stafi platform, and we don't know how exactly you could use it, but you will be able to use it. They're going to give us more details on that. You'll be using their platform. What they'll do is they'll match the number of tokens that you're going to get paid through these other blockchains, and they're going to match that in a stable token alternative called the OR token. Now, the OR token has different names depending on the blockchain. If you're staking with KAVA, it's going to be called the OR KAVA token. If you're staking with Harmony, it's going to be called the OR1 token, because 1 is the token of Harmony. If you're staking with Tezos, it's going to be OR XTZ, and so on. So that's pretty cool. I mean, it gives you those extra rewards pretty much. You may be asking yourself, what's the catch with this? Because who's going to give you free tokens for nothing? Well, you do need to have the FIS coin, which is the main coin on their ecosystem, on their parachain. You need to have a small amount of FIS. We don't know what the amount is. They're still giving us, they're going to be providing us with details on that when it's live. But once you hold a small amount of FIS, you can actually take advantage of this or token generation process for staking on other blockchains. So obviously they've got something to win, and you've got something to win too. So it's a win-win on both sides, I think.
Phenomenal. So right now,
I just like this model because it's unique. I mean, they're the first ones to do this, first DeFi protocol to have this kind of model.
Yeah, well, it sounds like they're working with winners, right? So if their model is sound, if their staking model and what they ask for participants to the extent to which they ask participants to be involved, if that's sound, like you're saying, because they still have to explain that, but once they do provide enough detail to be able to build a trust and confidence, and if that all works, if that all pans out, right? If it looks like it's on the up and up, then they've picked winners, right? Like you're saying, Polkadot and KAVA and Cosmos and others that are like that so far are doing very well and have a very bright future. So they're doing everything right so far. They just have to provide proof that, like you're saying,
info.
Yeah,
exactly. And they're going to be adding other blockchains too, but they want to audit them, so they're just not going to add any blockchain, right? I would expect them to add someone like Neo, for example, or Ontology, who have been in this space for some time too. They haven't said that, but it could happen. So it's down the line, basically.
Got it. And right now, your involvement with this project, I mean, what has you? Wasn't going to ask what has you excited, but your involvement so far there's no way to hold the token at this point, right? Because they haven't provided enough info.
No, the only people that could hold this token are people that have staked on those mentioned blockchains. They could actually, if they could prove that they've been staking on validators, there is a way through the Stafi website. Again, you need to join their Telegram channel. They'll provide you with a link on what you need to do to actually sign the transaction to prove that you're staked with that validator, and then you get an airdrop in FIS tokens locked to your account, basically. You need to provide them a Polkadot address. Actually, not even a Polkadot address. It's a Stafi address on testnet. So they're going to give you that airdropped token on testnet. And then when they're going to be on mainnet, then you're going to be able to swap in between. They're going to be providing you with details on how to swap. Hopefully, I can do a tutorial at some point in the future when they're going to have that available. But for now, it's just airdropped FIS tokens that are locked to your account, locked to your wallet, basically.
Got it. Okay. And so Wow. And with no date today, right? There's no official date today for when they go mainnet and when those tokens will be.
No, they were saying that in September they should provide more details on their upcoming token sale, and because they've done so well in the private sale, their token sale doesn't actually have that many tokens to sell. Only 850,000 at the price of 7 cents, if I remember correctly, or 14 cents. 14 cents. So the price is quite low. And not that many tokens. So I don't know if they're going to cap it. They didn't tell us the exact structure, but they will be giving us that detail pretty soon in September.
That's so
we're
awesome.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah. That is so awesome. Okay, so we've gone through several projects that you're excited about. You're bullish on this, and thank you so much for sharing this, Gem, guys. I mean, if you're getting this info at the time that I intend to publish it, then you're learning about Stafi at a time when you can take full advantage. Like Crypto says, there is an information channel on Telegram that is an official way to find out more. Yeah. And of course, all the projects we've been talking about, there's a link directly to their official outlets, news outlets, and project websites down in the description below. So check the show notes. Make sure that you're keeping track of these projects if you're interested, based on what you've heard from Crypto's Chain right there. Again, before we move on to this last project, I want to just invite you one more time. If you really like this kind of content, because this is a little bit new for you guys from me, go ahead and give me a thumbs up so that I know that validates to me that we're on the right track. I'm excited about DeFi. I haven't really talked about it very much because I won't ever try to oversell my understanding of the space. So I'm very much learning. I'm very much with the beginner mind in DeFi. So let me know if this is good stuff for you. That lets me know that I should continue down this track. And if you really, really like what you've been learning about so far, again, another invitation, go sub to Crypto's Chain. He's another, I'll tell you right now, he's one of our content gems right on the show today. He's a bit undiscovered, even though he's clearly putting in the work to go find really great crypto projects for you. So hit subscribe, make sure you click the bell so that you're notified when new videos go live on both this channel and over on Crypto's Chain. So make sure you do that today, guys. Don't waste time. DeFi waits for no one. So, but we got one more project that we wanted to talk about, and this is my contribution. And Crypto's Chain, I've mentioned this before, and it was a little bit new to you. This hit my radar based on some of the mining community, because we're very much focused on those projects. I don't know, it's something about like enthusiast hardware. A lot of us are PC gamers. A lot of us are into building systems and stuff. So when this hit my radar, it was like, oh, it makes instant sense. Somehow it clicks for us. But this one is called Chain Token, and it's can be found at chaingames.io. But Chain Token went live last week, and they had an initial offering before then, or a private token sale before then, and they allowed people to register a bit like sometimes how STOs will work, or a bit how some IEOs will work occasionally at different stages, right? Different minting, right, epochs that will allow for new participants to come in and buy some of the initial coins. But Chain Games, what got me excited about them was that they have built a betting platform for skills-based gaming, right? So it's not so much for gambling, like say Funfair. When Funfairs have been around for so long now, they are and they're relatively safe. They have been for a long time. That again, this is not me saying everybody should go out and look at Funfair right now and like it's the best time to enter Funfair. I don't know. Maybe take a look at them. I think they're comparable though, in that they're meant to be for betting. But Chain Games and the Chain Token is intended for skills-based betting in eSports. So let's just say that Cryptos and I, that if he went to chaingames.io and he downloaded their first proof of concept game, Super Crypto Card, he could start playing it in a versus mode against me. And it doesn't matter if he's on Linux or Mac OS or Windows, they've got a different client for all of those. But we could play this game, and this is just to prove their concept. This is not because they're trying to be a video game publisher. It's just because they're trying to show that it works, that their token and the tokenomics and the model of being able to have non-custodial crypto funds that you can bet against somebody else and then create a seamless, easy to use smart contract between two participants. And we could bet on the outcome, right? So Crypto's Chain, if you downloaded this game, Super Crypto Cart, and we played against each other, we could bet on the outcome and say, you know what? I'll bet you 5 chain tokens that I'm going to beat you at this racing game. We play the game itself has logic built in that honors the smart contract. So the moment we finish the game, doesn't matter. He can't decide to back out at that point. If he made the bet, then the money is mine now, based on the outcome of the game. And that's what they're building, is an orchestration layer for many games to be able to tie into these smart contracts and having this skills-based betting work in the real world of esports. So I'm pretty excited about that. I think it's a really cool market. I think it's and especially now with COVID-19 lockdowns and quarantines and people spending more time staring at screens and playing video games. Hey,
so it sounds like this game is going to be off chain mostly, but then on chain when it comes to the actual transactions, when they're taking your bets and when you're doing the payouts.
Correct. And that's just it. Blockchain games themselves, I'll be the first to admit that leaving too much on chain, you take a performance hit, and blockchain is not the correct solution for everything, but it is the correct solution for timestamping, and it is the correct solution for smart contracts. And when it comes to betting, you add smart contracts to betting, and all of a sudden, you don't get people, air quotes, welching, right? Like somebody says they owe you $50. Well, you don't have to worry about them owing it to you. It's automatically paid out when you create a smart contract that's honored.
Yeah.
So
totally agree.
Yeah. So, I mean, that said, if you're a Solidity programmer, you can roll your own, right? Your own Solidity based ERC20 or NFT based betting contracts, right? If you really wanted to, it's a lot of work, right? It's a lot of work for the average person, though. So if you're not a Solidity developer, if you're not a programmer, and you just like playing games, or you just like esports, and you think it'd be cool to be able to make them more interesting through betting, then something like chain games, it's a bit like how Ravencoin made the process of creating new assets as simple as burning tokens inside of their wallet, right? Or burning coins inside of their wallet. Chain games promises in the near future, in the near roadmap, to extend this functionality to so many other games and so many other platforms. And frankly, there are published APIs for Steam, for Epic Games, for so many other platforms that would allow them to reach into the catalog of every major game out there. Fortnite, GTA Online, anything released by Steam, because there is a publicly available API for these other platforms. So if what they're talking about building can be funded and can come to fruition, it really won't be long before they extend this proof of concept in Super CryptoCart to whatever your favorite game is on Steam or Epic. So I'm pretty excited about that. This has me bullish on this new token chain. They were just listed on CoinMarketCap. I think within the last 24 hours, as of the time of this recording, maybe 48 hours, as of the time of this recording, they just barely got listed on CoinMarketCap. They're still very young. Yes, they went public on Uniswap under a week ago. I think just under a week ago. So it's still early. It's not ground floor, but it's still early, and I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah, so that's what I got. Let me talk just briefly about the team as well. They've got the full breakdown of the tokenomics and everything they're working on chaingames.io. But the other thing that kind of had me excited about it was the team. I'm really big on evaluating the merit of a project based on team. So if you have founders that are known persons within the cryptocurrency space, blockchain, or within the open source space, or just within the tech startup space, and they've successfully delivered something before, that for me, as a participant or as a potential miner or as a potential, if I'm looking at a potential investment, that helps to bolster my confidence in the project because they've already delivered good work. And that's totally true of the Chain Games team. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. But I'm curious as far as skills-based betting or as far as video games, Cryptos, what are you, now that you've learned about it, what do you think?
No, I definitely think they're going to do good. And also NFTs play an important role as well. I mean, in 2020, it's the year of the DeFis, as we can see. But who knows? I mean, in 2021, it could be the year of the NFTs. Some people are speculating it's going to be that because you just can't have the DeFi hype going on forever and ever, right? People are going to jump on a new hype. So if it is going to be the year of the NFTs, then all these games and all these artists that are creating NFTs are going to probably do really well. That's the way I see it. I mean, we're seeing games starting to build now. I mean, I know we've got Engine, for example, which have been, in the space for some time and building, but they've got a flaw. I mean, they're pretty expensive when it comes to minting NFTs, But there are other options out there where you can make a free NFT minting, right? So if you've got free minting, then it's a no-brainer that people are going to want to mint NFTs or at least pay the transaction fees, right?
Yeah.
And that's going to be definitely cheaper and better, and it's going to motivate people to start trading those NFTs, to actually have ownership of these NFTs, especially with gaming, because gamers want to own that item. They don't want to lose it to that centralized server. When they decide to shut down the game, then everything you've invested in that game to do really well, to have like the best armor, to have the best car, to have, all this sort of stuff is gone pretty much if you're on that centralized server. Whereas with NFTs, you're going to have ownership of that. So if it's open source, then the developers can't really shut down the game, right? What they can do is they can create new versions of that game. But as long as there's voting rights, like we've got with Polkadot, for example, governance, then, at the end of the day, the gamers are going to be the ones to decide what happens, which update we're going to see, and how they're going to keep it going.
Yeah, and that's so to your point.
I'm definitely bullish on the future of blockchain gaming and NFTs.
Yeah, 100%. So, guys, I think that pretty much concludes the roundup. I mean, this one a little bit longer than I think either Cryptos or I expected, but it's because, as you can tell, Cryptos is very passionate about Polkadot, the Polkadot ecosystem, the governance that's contained there, and all of the value that's continuing to be built there. As you can tell, I'm very excited about these developers who are building something that kind of crosses outside of DeFi into a space where a lot of gamers and a lot of like even tabletop gamers, where they already are invested in things like, they wouldn't call them NFTs, they'd call them Magic the Gathering cards, right? Or trading cards, other collectibles, right? They're limited edition. So we can start to pull some of these people who are maybe today no coiners into the space. And who knows, maybe this time next year, they'll be talking about DeFi on their channels. Guys, that concludes the roundup. I mean, I'm so excited. Cryptos Chain was so generous with your time, so generous with your expertise. And I mean, that gem that you shared with us, I'm excited about it. I'm going to jump into their Telegram channel. Like, you guys are going to see Mind Your Biz down in the corner, like trying to swoop in on this gem. So thank you so much. Where can people find your content, and where would you like people to follow you?
First of all, thank you very much for having me on. It was great to talk to you and to the audience as always. You can find me on YouTube on Cryptos Chain. I'm also on Libri TV, which is a decentralized platform for social media in general and video. Please do subscribe to me there too if you are on there. If you're not on there, please do create an account, Libri TV. And on Twitter, pretty much at Cryptos Chain. So everywhere you could find me with at Cryptos Chain.
Awesome. Well, we'll subscribe to you there. Thanks so much again.
Thank you very much.
Se casaron en Nueva York y yo nací en Nueva York, así que yo soy cubano-americano neoyorquino.